Should we start? Hello, my name is Roda. I'm here from OCAD University. So I work at the Student Recruitment and Admissions Office, but I also did go to OCAD. I graduated from the Integrated Media program, and I'll tell you a little bit about that program afterwards. But some of the stuff I like to do, I shoot music videos. I'm a photographer. I also work in sculpture a lot, so I've had my work in galleries and things like that. So here's a quick video about OCAD.
So this is our rapid prototyping center, and here we kind of take students' digital files and we can produce physical objects out of them. What kind of stuff do you make here?
Anything to do with metal, so you can make something structural, you can make something artistic. It's totally up to your imagination.
Today I'm teaching visitors how to make a mold using clay and cast a plaster positive.
Digital Futures is technology and art and design and entrepreneurship and anything in between.
So this is the jewelry metalsmithing studio. The program encompasses both ceramics and textiles as well as jewelry and metalsmithing.
We're doing lithography today.
Now put your arms up like this, and that tells the software that you're in a seat.
We've done projects with Scotiabank, with Contact. We are doing everything and tons of everything.
That's great.
Environmental design is about how humans interact with space.
Graphic design is about creativity and criticality. So what we're trying to do is come up with original ways of communicating information, communicating text.
What kind of stuff do you guys get out to in illustration?
Super self-directed, so it's like you could do editorial work, advertising, logo design.
A successful class is everybody gives something and everybody gets something.
So that was a super quick tour of OCAD University's Open Day, Canada's biggest and oldest art and design university.
So if you don't know, OCAD is Canada's largest and oldest art and design university. That's what the school looks like. Have any of you ever seen it before when you're downtown Toronto? So the school is actually 143 years old. So we've been around for a long time, doing art and design for a long time in Canada. The school is the biggest art and design school in Canada, but it's still pretty small. We only have 4,500 students, so 1,000 students every year, and then we also have master's programs at OCAD too. And because we're still a small school, that means your classrooms are really small too. Average class sizes are 15 to 1, so you really get to know your professor one-on-one. They know who you are. It's not big lectures where you only see, your professor never sees you. These classes, you get to know your professor personally. They know your name, you know their name. Here's some other stats about OCAD. At OCAD, we have 15% international student population. So 15% of the students at OCAD are international students. And our students come from over 50 different countries, so OCAD is very diverse. Also, if you're interested in studying in another country for one semester, you can do that at OCAD. We have 60 different partners that you can do that with. And then some people are also interested in things like co-op or internship, work placement. At OCAD, we have opportunities like that. So we have over 370 different, actually, that stat has changed recently. It's over 400 different partners now. So 400 people that you could possibly do an internship, a work placement, things like that. So do any of you ever visit Toronto, or are you always in Hamilton? How many people visit Toronto regularly? Yeah, a few of you? Well, if you didn't know already, Toronto is one of the biggest hubs for entertainment, art, design. For me, whenever I was leaving school at OCAD, there was always movies being filmed downtown, new art exhibitions, stuff like that. So OCAD is a really great city to be in if you're interested in working in art and design. And these are some facts about Toronto that we all kind of know already. Toronto's ranked one of the best cities in the world pretty frequently. Also, it's the most diverse city in the world, so it's a good place to be if you want to be in that hub of art and design. So I'm going to say this a lot during my presentation. OCAD is not a traditional university. It's very different compared to other universities. One way is our creative community. So because OCAD is an art and design university, everybody in the school, the teachers, the staff, the students, everyone is an artist or designer. So it's a great opportunity for you if you want to explore different things. So whenever there's something at OCAD that for my projects that I didn't know how to do, there was always someone in the school who knew how to do it. And it's a great place to be if you want to explore as an artist or designer. Also, critical and conceptual thinking, imagination, and innovation are really big things that we push at OCAD. We want our students to be making new things, coming up with new ideas, looking for ways to solve different problems. And all of this ties into being problem solvers. OCAD's always looking to solve different problems, either answering questions or looking at things critically, designing things that fix problems around the world. So we're looking at things for human design and also for conscious with the environment and sustainability. And experiential learning is also a big thing at OCAD. So experiential learning means learning through experience, so doing things and learning that way. So maybe in your classroom, you get to do things that help you experience different things, or maybe outside of the classroom too. One of my professors at OCAD, he took us on a field trip to a studio called Footsteps, and they make all the sounds for Hollywood movies and stuff like that. So when we were there, they were working on the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and we got to help make sounds for that movie. So that was a good experience for us to learn how sound is made and help contribute to a Hollywood movie. Other ways you can have experiential learning, for me, I did 1 semester abroad in Prague in the Czech Republic. In Prague, they have the oldest film school in the world, so I studied there for 6 months. I got to work on movie sets in Europe, so it was a great experience for me to get hands-on experience. And another thing that I did at OCAD was I took a class called InTech, where we make artwork online with other students from around the world, and then every year they meet up in one of those countries and have an art exhibition. So in my year, we all went to Osaka, Japan, and we had an art exhibition in Osaka. So that was a great experience for me to have an international art exhibition, and I can put that on my resume and it looks really good. So those are the types of experiences that you can have while you're a student at OCAD. So those are some of the fun things at OCAD, but now I'll explain to you how the university works. So when you study in university, the program that you pick, that's called your major. And a major just means the main thing that you're focused on, the main thing you're studying. And then with your major, you also take liberal arts, sciences, and humanities classes. So for example, in first year, you take history and you take English class. So those are just to help you with your experience as an artist or designer. It's things that help alongside those things. And I'll explain the types of classes you take a little bit later. And then say you're interested in another program or you're interested in something else while studying at university, you can do something called a minor. It's optional. You don't have to do it, but if you want to, it's a good way to be able to study another program and get a little bit more experience doing something else. So at OCAD, there are 3 different designations for our program. So that just means when you graduate university on your degree, we have 3 different names for those. So one is a Bachelor of Arts, another one is a Bachelor of Fine Arts, and the last one is a Bachelor of Design. So in our Bachelor of Arts program, we have one program. It's called Visual Critical Studies. It's an art history program. Is anyone here interested in art history, studying art history? No? Well, I won't, oh, you do? Okay, I'll explain it a little bit. So it's not like regular art history programs. You get to study world art history. So it's not only European art. You also look at new media history, design history. And the great thing about this program is you still get to take art classes alongside. So you're still in the studio making stuff. 70% of the class is art history, but still you have a 30% that's studio. So you get to take classes if you're interested in painting, photography, things like that. So that was our only Bachelor of Arts program. Now I'm going to talk about the Bachelor of Fine Arts. So at OCAD, the school is divided in 2 parts, the art side and the design side. So I'm going to talk about the art side right now. So our first program at OCAD is called Creative Writing. So this is different than any other creative writing program in North America or even around the world because it's unique that you can take studio classes with your degree. So most creative writing programs are BA, Bachelor of Arts, but this is a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So that means you can take studio classes. You can take sculpture, photography, painting, video, anything that you want. and it's translating your writing into something else. So say you like to write short films, you can take an integrated media class and make that into a movie. Or say you like working in sculpture, you can translate your writing into a sculpture or into photography or into painting, stuff like that. So it's a very unique program if you're interested in writing and exploring how you can experiment with writing. Another program is called Criticism and Curatorial Practice. So this is setting you up to be an art curator. Do any of you know what an art curator is? An art curator is someone that works in a gallery and they help set up kind of the behind the scenes stuff. So you work with artists, you set up how galleries are set up. When you walk into a gallery, things aren't randomly put on the wall. It's someone's job to figure out what goes where and how to organize artists that are similar style, similar subject matter, and setting that up in a space. So that's what an art curator does. Our next program is the Indigenous Visual Culture program. So it's not only about Canadian Indigenous culture. You can study any Indigenous culture. So if you want to study your own background, you can do that in this program, and you use that study to create artwork. So students in this program are creating artwork based on their own Indigenous culture, their own background, things like that. And in this program, it's multidisciplinary, so you can take any class you want. You can take photography, painting, video, things like that. Printmaking. This program is pretty similar to graphic design, but a lot of people call it the traditional graphic design. So you're doing a lot of things by hand. So like screen printing. Screen printing is like, you know when you have a design on your shirt, those are usually screen printed on. Or you can work with paper making, you know, working with different types of printers. So it's similar to graphic design, but all done by hand. Our next program is Sculpture and Installation. So I'm sure we all know what sculpture is. It's all about creating 3D things, working in the three-dimensional. Also installation, if none of you know what that means, installation just means creating artwork specifically for a space. So designing a piece of art that creates an experience within a space. So if I was creating an artwork for this room, I would consider the space of the room, the lighting, things like that, and make an artwork specific to the space. So in sculpture and installation, you get to do woodworking, metal, plastic class. You can also work in the foundry. So you see what's happening here. They're melting down metal and they're pouring it into molds to create sculptures out of metal. So OCAD is really unique because we're one of the only schools that has a foundry facility. And photography. Is anyone here interested in a photography program? Oh, yeah. The cool thing about OCAD's photography program, it's not a commercial photography program. So you learn the skills to be a commercial photographer, but you use those skills in a more creative way. So it's definitely more art photography. So you can do traditional photography like working with digital cameras and things like that, but also you can work with film as well. So at OCAD, we're one of the only institutions with a color darkroom development lab. So you can develop your own colored film, you can develop black and white film. We have 3 different big studios at OCAD to shoot in. We have every type of digital camera you can imagine. We have medium format cameras, large format cameras. So OCAD has a lot of equipment if you're interested in photography. And then drawing and painting program, this is the most popular program at OCAD. Is anyone interested in drawing and painting? It's pretty straightforward. You do drawing, you do painting in this program. It's one of the oldest programs at OCAD, so it's a great program if you want to explore kind of more of the fine arts side of drawing and painting and develop yourself as an artist in your own style. Integrated media, this is the program that I graduated from. So this is a good program if you're interested in film, video, stuff like that. So it's not all film and video. You get to try a bunch of different things as well. So you can take electronics class, coding, sound, things like that, but mainly it's film and video. So if you're interested in becoming a filmmaker, working in TV, things like that, this would be a good program to look into. Also, there's a little bit of animation as well if you're interested. So at OCAD, a lot of people ask about animation programs. Is anyone here interested in animation? Anyone want to become an animator? Yeah? So at OCAD, we have digital painting and expanded animation. So this is more of an experimental animation program. So for example, you see the video right here in the background? That's an example of experimental animation. So they made a sculpture. It's a piece of plastic that's like a semicircle, and they put it on the ground. And on top of it, from the ceiling, there's a projector. And it's projecting the animation onto the sculpture. So that's an example of experimental animation. So not animation that's just on the computer, it's combining animation with sculpture. Also in this program, you can do things like virtual reality, putting animation into virtual reality, or augmented reality. So this program is all about taking traditional animation skills and using it in experimental ways. This next program, Life Studies, this is a good program if you're interested in biology, science, things like that, human anatomy, environmental biology. It's taking those science skills and applying it to something creative, so making art based on the human body. I had one friend, she made a project where she designed a jacket with LEDs in it, and then the LEDs were connected to a brainwave sensor, so it would read her mood. So when she was angry, the jacket would change color. If she was happy, it would change color. So that's an example of combining art with science, biology with something creative. The next program is called Publications. This is a little bit of printmaking, a little bit of graphic design, but it's very geared towards creating publications, so creating books, texts, things like that. There's like a little bit of creative writing in this program too. So if you're interested in printmaking and graphic design, but very specifically towards creating publications like books and texts and stuff like that, this is a good program to look into. So those are all the art programs. Now I'm going to show you the design side of the school, okay? So these are all our design programs at OCAD. So our first program is environmental design. This is an architecture program. Is anyone interested in architecture? This program also has interior design in it. So a lot of people are also interested in interior design. So it's a 3D program, so you're doing all the same things you would do in any architecture program. But for this program, you don't need math and physics as a prerequisite to get in. You just have to present a portfolio with your design work. So you can also, a great thing about this program is that you can specialize in interior design, and it's a certified interior design program. So when you graduate, you're a certified interior designer. So you don't have to go back to school and get that certification. It comes with the degree. And in this program, you're looking at, landscape design, building design, interior design, all the kind of things that you would do as an architect. The next program is called industrial design. So an industrial designer is someone that creates 3D products for people. So for example, the chairs that you're sitting in, phones, anything physical that we interact with every day is created by an industrial designer. So I have a friend that works for Umbra, which is a furniture company, and he was in this program, industrial design. And for Umbra, he designs like little knickknacks and stuff that you use around your house, small objects that we interact with every single day. So this program is really good if you're interested in creating 3D product designs and building those as well, because you take wood shot, metal shot, plastics, so you're building real products for people to use. Our next program is called advertising. So advertising is similar to graphic design, but it's very specific because you're creating content with a targeted message. So you're selling ads, you're selling a product, you're selling an idea to people. So that's what advertisement's all about. And you can work in 2D, 3D. There's a lot of writing, and it's kind of like studying the way people think and creating ads based on that. And the last program in the design side of the school is called graphic design. So I think a lot of you already know what graphic design is. So it's working a lot in 2D. You can do photography, you can do video. Graphic design is all about communicating a message. So taking someone's ideas and message and converting that into something that people can take something away from. So you do things like typography, learning about fonts, all that kind of stuff. Oh, sorry, I forgot about illustration. Illustration is our last program in the design side. So this is a good program if you're interested in drawing and painting, but you want to do more kind of the commercial side of things. So an illustrator does a lot of like drawing and painting, but specific for clients. So you could work as a comic book illustrator, you can be a graphic design illustrator, all these kinds of things. So it's all about taking your style of art in drawing and painting and being able to use that to communicate someone else's message. So at OCAD, we also have 2 extra programs that are design and art. So when you graduate from these programs, you can pick which degree you want. You can graduate with an art degree or a design degree. You get to decide that in your last year of school. So the first one is called Material Art and Design. It's a fashion program and a jewelry design program. Is anyone interested in fashion and jewelry? Yeah? Okay. So this is a really popular program for international students. A lot of international students come to OCAD for this program. So you can choose. You can do either jewelry, or textiles, so working with fabrics and stuff. So this is a very art-focused program. So you're not just creating fashion and jewelry for no reason. You're creating stuff that's kind of wearable art. So you're coming up with ideas and translating that into real work. So it's not just about creating stuff. It's about creating stuff with meaning, with purpose. Sometimes you create functional stuff like clothing or jewelry that does something. So this is a good program to look into if you like working with your hands, you like working with textiles or jewelry. There's also the option to take ceramics in this program, so working with clay and things like that. And then the next program is called Digital Futures. So in this program, you can do things like game design. You see that video here? That's a video game that students made in this program. So you can do coding, software development, app development, virtual reality, augmented reality, user experience. This program is all about working with new technology and creating art out of that. So you can do video game design like that, for example. There's a lot of opportunity to work with real industry people, software development, web design, things like that. So this program has a lot of different things that you can do within it, and it's all about new technology. So those are all the programs at OCAD. I know I went over it a little bit quickly, but it's all in the book. If you didn't get a book, I can give you one after. Or it's in that box behind you if you didn't grab one yet. So I know there's a lot of programs at OCAD. You need to remember that when you're applying to OCAD, you can only pick one program, okay? So pick the program that you like the best and you think you would do the best in. But if you're still interested in another area, I was talking about this earlier, you can do a minor. So a minor is like a small version of another program. So say, for example, you're in the material art and design program, the fashion program, but you're still interested in photography. You can do photography as a minor, so like taking some classes in photography. Or if you're interested in English or creative writing or business or social science, you can do that at OCAD. So we have 18 different minors you can do at OCAD, and they're also listed in the book, so you can see all of them in the book. And this is a good way to explore another area at the school. And I was talking about earlier, because OCAD's a university, you still have to take liberal arts and sciences classes. So it's up to you what you pick. In first year, you have to take 2 history courses and 1 English writing course. But after that, you can choose what you want to do. So for example, I took a psychology class while I was at OCAD. I took a social science class at OCAD. I took an astronomy class at OCAD. And these are just classes that I thought would help me as an artist, a designer. But it's up to you. At OCAD, we also have science courses like biology, you can take math, you can take business, you can take gender studies. We have a whole bunch of different classes you can take at OCAD, and it's a good way to help you as an artist develop yourself. At OCAD, we also have a lot of shops and studios, and the cool thing about our shops and studios at OCAD is during some times of the year, they're 24-hour access. So 24 hours a day, you can visit the studios and work on stuff. So if you have a project you want to work on at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 7 a.m., our shops and studios are always open. And we have places like the wood shop, metal shop, plastics labs. We have rapid prototyping if you want to do 3D printing, mold making, foundry, dark rooms. At OCAD also, if you need to borrow tools, say you need to borrow a saw, a drill, a hammer, something like that, a sewing machine, you can borrow that from the school. Or if you want to borrow a camera, lights, a laptop, projector, you can also borrow that from the school. Also, a good thing about OCAD is that if you want to be a professor at OCAD, you have to work in the field that you teach. So all of our professors work in the areas that they teach. So all your graphic design professors work as graphic designers. All the environmental design professors work as architects. So it's a good way for students to get real-world experience from their professors. Also at OCAD, we have a lot of student services. So every university should have these, but I'll tell you anyways. We have Center for Students with Disabilities. So if you have a disability and you need help at OCAD, we can help you with that. We have the Writing and Learning Center. If you need a tutor, we have tutors at OCAD. Health and Wellness, student advising, financial aids and awards. So for scholarships, bursaries. There's a few international student scholarships at OCAD. So if you're interested, you can get those as well. And also the Indigenous Visual Culture Center. And going to university isn't all about just going to class. We also incorporate a lot of social aspects to school. So here are a lot of the ways you can be involved at OCAD. student groups, so you can start a club. At OCAD, we have a lot of international student clubs and groups and stuff like that. Like there's the Korean Student Association, things like that. So you can start your own club as well if you're interested. Student union, we have the peer mentors, so older students that will help younger students, first year students if they need help getting around the school. Indigenous Visual Culture Center, and then galleries, exhibitions, and open studios are also really great places to meet other OCAD students. So if you're wondering how to apply to be at OCAD, this is what you have to do. First, you have to apply online on the OUAC website. That's the Ontario University Application Center. You pick OCAD, you pick the program you want to go into, and then after that you have to submit a portfolio. So if you didn't know, to be a student at OCAD, you have to make a portfolio which shows all your artwork, your design, stuff like that. And then you have to meet our grade requirements, and then last, if we accept all that, you can come to OCAD. So if you're applying to a studio program, you need a portfolio, a statement of intent, and the grade requirements. So you're all international students, right? Yeah? So here are the requirements for international students. If you haven't been studying in an English-speaking country for 4 years, you'll have to take a TOEFL or IELTS test, and those are the scores for that. So if you need to remember that, it's also in the book. At the back of the book, it tells you what you need for your IELTS and your TOEFL and stuff. And yeah, you need to graduate high school to be able to come to OCAD. And in your top 6 U or M courses, or whatever the equivalent might be for you, you need to get a 70%. And you also need to take grade 12 English, and you need a 70% in that as well. So, and also a study permit if you're an international student. So those are the grade requirements, just 70%, and then also your TOEFL or IELTS test, okay? Other than your school requirements, that's all we need. The main thing that we look at when you're applying to OCAD is your portfolio. So portfolio is all the work that you make to show that you're an artist or designer. So to apply to OCAD, you need 8 to 10 things in your portfolio, okay? And one of those things needs to be sketchbook or process work. So for your portfolio, these are the things that you need. We want to see that you're a creative thinker and that you're a problem solver. Also, technique is a good thing to show. So if you're applying for a program, show that you have technical skills in that program. So if you're applying to drawing and painting, show us you know how to draw, you know how to paint. If you're applying to like industrial design, show us that you have 3D skills. If you're applying to integrated media, show that you have video skills. Do research about the program you're applying to and include things in your portfolio that go alongside those things. Also, you want to show variety in your portfolio. So in your portfolio, don't put all the same stuff. So if you're applying to the fashion program, for example, not everything in your portfolio has to be fashion related. You can put photography, you can put drawing, you can put painting. Just show a bunch of different stuff so that you can show that you have other skills as well. So usually what people say is 50% of your portfolio should be related to the program, and the other 50% can be whatever you want. So it's a good way to show that you have lots of different skills. And then yeah, fit for program, just make sure that your portfolio matches the program you're applying to. So you have to have stuff in your portfolio that's related to that program. And then yeah, you can use your portfolio to show different ideas you've had, risks and concepts, experimentation. Not everything in your portfolio has to be the best thing ever. It just has to show that you're thinking creatively and things like that. You can put work in your portfolio that's only half finished or ideas for things, and those will count as well, as long as it shows that you have those ideas. And then in terms of the sketchbook or process work, you only have to show 5, 10, maybe 15 pages of creative thinking, okay? So if you have a sketchbook, you can scan 5 to 15 pages, or maybe you come up with your ideas differently. Maybe you do a lot of research. You can show us your research. Maybe you're inspired by other people's work. You can include that in your portfolio as well. Just show us how you come up with your ideas and how you're a creative thinker and come up with those concepts, ideas, works of art, things like that. So that's all the portfolio stuff, and the only extra thing you have to add to your portfolio is a statement of intent. And a statement of intent is just explaining yourself as an artist, introducing yourself, because when you're submitting your portfolio, you do it online, and the person looking at your portfolio just wants to know who you are, why you make art, things like that. So statement of intent is just 350 words, it's very short, just explaining a little bit about yourself. And like I said, you upload your portfolio online, okay? So once you apply to OCAD, we'll send you a link on how to submit your portfolio. It's done on a program called SlideRoom. It's very easy to use. There's a little section where you write a description about your art, you explain it, things like that. So it's very easy to use. Just make sure you upload all your work on there and you submit it by mid-February, because that's when the portfolio is due. It's due in the middle of February. And when you're taking pictures of your work, remember that every time you submit one piece, it doesn't have to be one picture. So say you have a painting, you can upload 3, 4 pictures for that painting. So take one very big picture, take some small pictures to show close-up details. If you make a sculpture, take pictures all the way around, stuff like that, okay? So just make sure you have very clear images, make sure there's nothing in the background, make sure it's well lit. Maybe you can borrow a camera from your friend or use a good camera phone, whatever you want. Just make sure that you're showing your art as good as possible. Or if you're uploading digital files, make sure the files are high resolution. Just make sure you're showing your work as best as you can, because you should be proud of your work and show it as best as you can. So the only program that has a different portfolio is the creative writing program. So for creative writing, you can upload 5 to 15 pieces for that portfolio, but the specifics of what you need for that portfolio, we'll send you an email about that. Also for the art history program, visual and critical studies, there's a different portfolio for that too. And instead of like a creative portfolio, you just send in a writing sample. And again, for that one, we'll send you the specific details. So that one doesn't need a portfolio, it just needs a writing sample. So there's the application process one more time, just in case you're wondering. So you apply online, submit your portfolio, then you have to meet the grade requirements. And you can, if your grades are low, you can still take summer school or private school, stuff like that to help boost your marks up if you need to. And then if that's all good and we accept you, then you can come to OCAD in September. So if you're wondering what's next, a lot of people ask about jobs. Are there jobs for artists and designers, things like that. At OCAD, we have a lot of services to help students find work, internships, jobs, things like that. So we have something called the Center for Emerging Artists and Designers, and that's a space at OCAD that can help review your portfolio, review your resume. When you're a student at OCAD, you can go to them and they'll help you find a job on campus if you need to make money while a student, or if you want to find an internship for the summer or while you're a student, you can do that. Also, when you graduate, up to 6 years after you graduate, you can go to them and they'll help you find internships, work placements, things like that. So it's a great service that OCAD provides to help our students find work, find exhibitions to submit their work to, all sorts of things. And then while you're a student at OCAD, you also take professional practice courses. So those are courses that help you learn how to be a professional, how to work in your industry, things like that. And then experiential learning, that's what I talked about earlier, learning through experience. And you can also do field studies, so going alongside with professionals and learning from them. And if you don't want to work for someone else and you just want to start your own business, maybe you have a very creative idea for your own business, at OCAD we have something called the Imagination Catalyst. So they're giving money away to students that have ideas. So you just submit your idea to them and you have the chance to win a certain amount of money to help kickstart your business and make that business into a reality. So we've had a lot of students at OCAD that run their own businesses. I think the stat is 80% of students from OCAD do or have worked for themselves. So even me, for example, I shoot music videos and I do that freelance by myself. So I'm my own boss. I work my own hours and stuff like that. So a lot of students at OCAD are independent workers. Okay. There's a video there. I'm going to show it. It might be a little bit loud, but it's a good way to see what OCAD looks like. It's one of our partners at OCAD. So Ubisoft is a game development company. Do any of you know Ubisoft? They do video games. So Ubisoft is a partner with OCAD and they help some OCAD students who are interested in video game design. Let's see.
Okay, today I'm at the Ubisoft headquarters. They're a massive game development company. I'm going to be speaking to some OCAD game developers who are testing their games here in preparation for Level Up, which is a big gaming expo here in Canada.
Hello, I'm Josh Cook. I'm one of the art directors here at Ubisoft Toronto. I've worked on 9 chip games, everything from Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Watch Dogs. Today we've had a bunch of students in showing off their game.
I'm Lyndon. I'm in 4th year illustration.
I'm Jacqueline. I'm in 3rd year advertising at OCAD.
We're giving them some good feedback, helping them to, grow as game developers, improve their product for the competition.
You need 2 players.
The game would be more powerful if you never see it.
Okay, so that's an example of one of the partners we have at OCAD. So Ubisoft was helping students that were interested in video game design. So they're a really big company, and they're partnered with OCAD to help students interested in that field. And if you're still interested in more things about OCAD, you can come talk to me after the presentation. Also, if you want, you can sign up on my iPad to get more information from the school. This is just a very quick, brief presentation. There's a lot more information you can still learn about OCAD. And a good way to see if OCAD's a good fit for you is to visit our open house. So on October 20, we have an open house where you can come in and get a look at the school, see all the shops and studios, things like that. And then also, if you're really interested in art school, not just OCAD, but any art school, on November 3rd at York University, there's a National Portfolio Day. So you can bring your portfolio. It doesn't have to be finished. Just bring whatever you have, and you can show them, and they'll take a look at it, give you feedback about your portfolio, things like that. There's going to be a lot of universities there. There's going to be universities from all over Canada, and we're going to have universities from the United States as well there, and they can look at your portfolio and give you feedback on what you should and shouldn't include for your portfolio. And then if you're still interested, you can take a tour at OCAD, so you can book a tour online if you're interested and see the school. We have newsletters, so you can join the newsletter, and we'll send you information so you don't miss any important things when applying for university. And then in May, we have GradX, which is our big OCAD graduate exhibition show. So all the OCAD graduates are showing their artwork there. So that's the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, you could email admissions, and we have people there that work with international students if you have specific questions about study permits and things like that. Okay, thank you guys.